If you're still making decisions on your trading based on the Fibonacci tool, I need you to stop what you're doing and pay attention to this video because I'm going to show you what actually works and what doesn't work. Okay, let's start with the Fib tool. Like, what's the Fib tool? If you're used to any of the TradingView tool, if you're using that or whatever other charting software tool, I think I don't know if Webull has a Fib tool, but I think Thinkorswim does. But anyways, this is TradingView. The Fib tools are super popular to figure out entries, exits, and I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I used to be a Fib person as well too. Okay, when I used to do a lot of technical analysis, but that's I'm no longer doing that anymore. My entire strategy has changed to a much better method that I will be showing you here later, and it's exactly how the same strategy that we use to make a bunch of money in the stock market that Deborah does, Sewell does, Aaron, Agent. It's the same method, okay? And it's a much more accurate, much more reliable in the long term, okay? So let's talk about the Fib tool. Like this first little item on the left, or the second item, right? Super simple. You just click somewhere, drag it, and then you're given these set of numbers here. And if we look at the coordinates for this, let's see. Oh, it looks like they changed it here. Here we go. The style. Okay, this is the old configuration that I used to use and that I actually used to teach as well too. It was the common 618 and then the 736. This third one, this blue line, I'm using an 84 here, I guess, but this one varies for people. I'm not really sure why. I forgot where I got these configurations from actually, but I used them for a while. I thought they were like the golden pockets. You get into this because this is where institutions buy and they're not going to let it go down and all this stuff. That was the thought process, but I've come to find out that this is just a bunch of fugazi. It actually has no meaning. I'm going to look up on ChatGPT the significance of these numbers. I think it's based off of like nature. um I don't understand. Okay, yeah, so Fibonacci numbers, we're asking ChatGPT. Fibonacci numbers are significant because they show up in both nature and human created systems in what it just sounds like a bunch of fugazi, okay? Like it has no mathematical purpose here. Nature and biology, sunflowers and pine cones, like and shells. Like nobody cares, okay? We don't care about that. What we need is more accurate, not because of some nature or some sort of behavioral hippie stuff. So this is and the problem with the Fib tool that a lot of people mess up on is like, well, how do you draw the Fib tool, right? Now, something that I used to do was always like look at basic market structure, and then I would say, okay, hey, like this is pretty obvious market structure, right? If I just draw with the brush here, up, down, bump, up, it broke. Theoretically, this is a zone where you want to be buying for a short, right? Because you would just draw from the current low to the last high, right? So in this case, I would just draw the Fib tool from the bottom to the start to the top. And right now we are at these lines. But I'm going to tell you something here, and it's going to invalidate this Fibonacci strategy, right? Theoretically, there's blue lines. You could color whatever you want, but these blue lines used to be my signal that, hey, I actually want to start shorting up a SPY around this level, right? And it's gonna more than likely invalidate here into the future. It's not gonna work out, and I'm gonna explain to you exactly why. Okay, but this is how it would work. And if you're in a long position, it would be the same case, right? Like just look at this, up, down, right? So we would just start from here. Whoops, that's the wrong tool. We would go from here to here, right? And you're like, okay, that's the swing low and the swing high. I want to buy here. And then you would get into these blue lines and you can see, oh, it's going up, going up. Hey, wait a minute. It just fell down. What happened? How come these blue lines didn't hold, right? And the problem with this is that, again, it's all self-fulfilling. In my opinion, and there's no empirical data. Actually, let's ask ChatGPT real quick. And I'm pretty sure there isn't. Is there empirical data that the Fibs work? I'm pretty sure there is not. And the honest answer is not in the way people sometimes assume. Let's unpack. Okay, academic and empirical studies. The result is that here there was a Marshall, Young, and Rose. Okay, the result is that they found no statistically significant edge in using the Fibonacci levels versus random levels. Prices do appear to react as Fibonacci percentages, but the same can be said if you pick arbitrary ratios like 37% or 63%. Okay, so all in all, there's really no edge in using the Fib tools. Perfect. So ChatGPT already proved me right, right? The problem here is that, like I was saying, self-fulfilling, right? You want to see what you want to see. And the truth is, it's not going to work. That's why a lot of times I moved away from technical analysis, because you could flip the chart sideways and you're still going to want to see what you want to see. Now, I want to show you a post that I did. Okay, yesterday I did a Zoom call on a Gextron demo training, and I put the recording here. So if you ever want to watch that and see how to actually have an edge in the market, how to mark actual entries and price targets, there is a video here on the free community. It costs nothing. Okay, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and look at the link in the description box. But this morning, about 2 hours ago, during market open, I said, hey, here are the SPY daily levels. DEM is just the dashed line right here. It's like, here's the range for SPY for the day, the price targets for the day, which was 646.85. This is such a specific number. Like, no Fib tool is going to be able to guess that. And I still have I updated the weekly price target on the top as well too, because the week is almost over. But I'm going to show you exactly how I got these numbers, and I'm actually going to show you the results. If we actually go back here to these levels, look, we are almost there at the daily top, right? And so in this video, I discuss, in this training demo call, I discuss how to pick entries, how to pick price targets, whether you're day trading or swing trading, which I do a lot of swing trading, and how to get stopped out. And we use a tool called Gextron, okay? Gextron is the tool that I developed that helps you figure out entries, stops, and price target. And price targets are very, very tricky here, because most of the time when you go into a trade, you're going to ask yourself, well, what's the price target? You get into a trade because you believe the price of a stock is going to be at a certain price level by a specific date. And so you get into the trade, and then most of the time it's going to fail, right? If I was to use the Fib tool here and I say, okay, let's just say that we short here, SPY, right? Your price target, how I used to teach this, would be that the price target would probably be somewhere around this 382 level, and then this would be another price target, and this would be another price target, right? So you take profit along the way, right? But what's the likelihood of it hitting from 645 all the way to 640, $5 loss, $6 loss, by as of right now, where it's almost the end of half of the day, right? The likelihood is very, very low. Can it happen? Yes, it can most certainly happen. But will it? Probably not. It's just not going to work. That's not how the market works. The market works based on implied volatility, based on the option premiums. And that's exactly what Gextron does. It's always forward looking. These levels that I showed here on this post, it's all forward looking. It's all, Gextron is always looking into the future to give you the biggest support and resistance levels that we haven't touched yet, and then also price targets that have a high likelihood of hitting. Okay, if it goes anything above or anything higher and anything lower than the range that is given, that's just the power supply and demand. But it's going to give you about a 70% hit rate of it being within this range right here. And so then you have realistic price targets by a specific date. And I'm actually going to show you how this works. Okay, so super simple. Which, by the way, I am giving out free trial plans in batches. I'm going to probably get about 100 folks in here. Right now, I've already recruited the first 10. If you want to get access to this tool for free, for a free plan, make sure you join this community. It's free, it costs you nothing. Just click on the link description down below and just click join. Okay. And then you could get access to that. So, and I'll probably be releasing the next batch here in a week or two, because there's a couple of bugs I have to fix and a couple of features I have to add. But anyways, okay, how to figure out entries and then targets and all this stuff. How did I figure out the entries here? Well, I let the entire team know in yesterday's call that that the entry is always, you're given this chart right here. It's called the gamma exposure chart here for this one. And what you want to do is you want to find the first positive bar for a long position. You want to find the first positive bar, and the next three to the right have to be positive. So here's 643, 1, 2, 3 positive bars. Perfect. 643 is P-trans level. That's what we call it. P-trans is just positive transition. And you can see here we are way above it. N-trans is the first negative bar, and the next bars to the left, the next three have to be negative. So in this case, it's 642.5, and then you can see 1, 2, 3. So 642.5 is clearly N-trans level here, and I just marked these levels here. Okay, so that's it. I just plot that in there. Actually, this was incorrect. There you go, 642.5. Okay, now here's the thing about these levels. Okay, because the only time I ever change my thesis on my trade is if the data changes. And that's the thing about, like I said, about Gextron. It's always dynamic. It's always taking into consideration the new transactions that are coming in, the new option pricing for all the given strikes and all the given expirations. And then it's recalculating the most optimal entries and for either longs or shorts. So if price loses P-trans level, then that's my cue. Hey, I can no longer have a long bias thesis at the moment because the data has changed, and that's okay, right? It's an early signal that I may want to get out of my position earlier than expected. And then also any like support and resistance are just tall bars, whether they're negative or positive. So like 645, 650, the taller the bar, the bigger the resistance or the bigger the support, right? We just like to call them areas of interest because these levels can just flip. They can flip. So it can be resistance at one point and then it can flip to support if it holds above it. Okay, now for price targets. Now that I have all those levels marked, and you can see here, I can't make this up. Okay, this was given 2 hours ago. I haven't touched it. 646.85. If we take a look at this, 680 we're literally there. Like, it's just a few cents away. It doesn't even matter at this point. Like, Gextron did it again, right? It nailed the daily top. Now, can it go higher? Of course. Can it get rejected there or stall out? Of course it can. And then find another level of support, another area of interest that Gextron has mentioned, right? It can definitely go here, stall out, and then boom, come back down to some sort of support before the next leg up. So again, that already would invalidate the Fibs lines, right? The Fib lines would have told you short it all the way down until we get all the way above. And I'm here to tell you that if you do that, you're going to lose a lot of money, okay? It's better just to play price targets from Gextron and then just the areas of interest, and then use that as an entry and then aim for the price target and make sure that the risk versus reward ratio is there, right? So in this case, we've been long since above P-trans. This is about if we use the long position here, right? Let's see. Here we go. That's about a 6.59 risk versus reward ratio. It makes it a great trade. It's just that simple, right? And all I have to do is just keep an eye out. Now that I know price targets, I just have to know what's in the way. And then you figure that out by finding the tall bars. It's really, really just that simple. Okay. This is much more accurate, especially if you're day trading or if you're going to be swing trading. If I'm swing trading, I want to figure out monthly or weekly price target ranges. So I just click on this little bar right here on this little calendar icon, and it slides out the expirations, and it's grouped by months. And I say, okay, what's the month expected price targets? So I just go here, and it tells me how many days till expiration. I just look for the last expiration of this month, which is the 30th. It says that as of right now, from the current price of 645.77, it has an expected price movement of $16.43 to the top and to the bottom. So now I have realistic price targets. And all I want to do, let's see if we can pull up the calculator here. Not the calendar. What is this? Calculator. Okay. All I want to do is just add that number, right? So I'm just going to say 645. Let's see. I'm doing everything with one hand, so it's a little bit challenging. Plus that number here, which is 1643. 43, and I press enter. So this is wonderful. This is the monthly expected price target. So all I do is just create another line here, and I'm going to see if it hits, right? We're early in the month. We're only 4 days into it. And now I'm just going to change the color here, and I'm going to change here. I like to create an acronym here, MEM. So monthly expected price target. And then I also want to do the same for the bottom. Of course, I don't want to be in denial about the situation. So all I got to do is just update this number right here. We're just going to go back here. We're say minus instead. And what was the number? 1643. Okay, 1643. We press enter. 629. Copy pasta. That's it. Really, really easy. That's it. That's all you got to do. And you just play the ranges, right? If I have a monthly expected price target bias, then I just like double the expiration or triple the expiration, right? Instead of getting 30 days, maybe I'll get 60 or 90 days. So that way the clock isn't against me all the time, right? At least that's the way I like to do it. And you can see here that we're actually tapping into into the daily expected price target. Like I can't make this up. The fib lines would never be able to tell you this kind of prediction. That's why I don't trust the fibs, and I don't recommend that you would use the fibs either. Okay, it's just setting up for failure, in my opinion. And the fact that ChatGPT said that there's no empirical data, no academic or empirical studies, just lets me know that this is just all lies. And if anybody tells you otherwise, tell them that they're a liar. All right. Besides that, that's all I wanted to show you, how we do it. And if you have any questions, drop a comment down below. Check out the links if you want to get access to the free plan here for Gextron. And I'll see you in the next one.